Breaking news. It's the brightest way to detect mercury in water, and scientists are applauding it as accurate, brilliant, and just plain pretty. Mercury has a range of uses, but it is also incredibly toxic, which can be absorbed through the skin, inhaled, ingested, and can cause chronic or acute poisoning. It can combine with carbon to form dangerous organic compounds, especially found in poisoned water that creates kidney and brain damage. We have an interview with Dr. J, who is here to tell us about how being able to accurately detect mercury in samples will change lives.
Thanks for having me. So I'm here to inform you of the wonderful new method to determine mercury. The future is in the hands of atomic fluorescence spectroscopy. It sounds complicated, but the concept is quite simple. The process behind it is based on absorption of specific wavelengths by an atomic vapor, followed by the detection of radiationally deactivated states by emission at right angles to the source of excitation, and the absorption and the subsequent emission processes occur at the wavelengths, which are characteristic to the atomic species present. As a result, this technique is a very sensitive and selective method which is perfect for determining mercury, among other important elements as well, such as arsenic and lead. But of course, the intensity of the fluorescence radiation depends on quite a number of factors. These include the intensity of the excitation source, the concentration of the atomizer, the quantitative efficiency of the process, and also the extent of self-absorption in this atomizer itself.
We lost the signal there. We have an incoming call from Carl Fisher, claiming to be the inventor of titration. He has something to say.
I heard you guys are using a new method. But what's wrong with the good old-fashioned back titration? You see, you need to figure out an unknown concentration of mercury, but mercury reacts with EDTA. Therefore, you react your sample with an excess of EDTA, and in order to figure out how much is in excess, a simple back titration. You fill a burette with a lead nitrate solution. It funnels down into your sample with an indicator of xylene or orange, which is a range of pH from 5 to 6. Then, you find your total EDTA, subtract the titrated EDTA solution that was in excess, and you find the concentration of EDTA that reacted with your initial mercury. Zip-boom. It's basic chemistry.
My technique is faster, more accurate.
More expensive.
Would you rather we miscalculate the possible content of mercury?
Are you calling my technique inaccurate? It has a relative error of 0.26% if you use sodium metabisulfate as a masking reagent.
In one study in 2004.
Well, it's harder to find literature on this subject.
Because nobody uses back titration anymore, especially because the possibility of human error is always present. In spectrometry, the use of machinery limits this error. Additionally, the use of fluorescence in the spectrometry has an even higher accuracy than normal spectrometry, as there is a limited number of interference possible, due to the lack of ions that can actually fluoresce. In a manual technique, each individual ion has to be tested to make sure that it does not interfere with the procedure, something that is time-consuming and harder to process.
But in labs where they don't have the budget for a fancy spectrophotometer, buying the chemicals required for a simple back titration is cheap. This method is not hard to conduct, does not require electricity or heating, and is completely portable. One can test samples right by the photosource and have results in a few hours. It is accurate, cheap, and the limitations are only on the ability of the researcher.
Fine. As always, all the methods are great for an initial consultation or for smaller labs to complete, but we aren't talking about any mineral here. It's mercury, it's toxic, it's dangerous. Bigger labs will have the funding necessary to properly assess water sources and to make sure that people aren't getting poisoned. The more accuracy, the better. Not to mention a spectrophotometer won't just be used to assess mercury. It can also be used to measure a vast number of analytes and can even analyze folded proteins, other heavy metals, and a range of biochemical and medical fields. One back titration technique cannot do those either.
What is a folded protein?
Discovered in 1962, I'll tell you about that later.
Proteins fold?
there you have it, folks. That's all we have time for. Thanks to both our experts for joining us. See you next time in Science News.